Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And today we're reviewing
Crisis on Earth-X Part 4.
yeah, Elefine Part 4. So yeah, Martin Stein caught a hot lick and then
Sure did.
is lying in a pool of his own blood, and then he powers through and then gets up again and goes to pull this switch, and then he gets hit again. I was like, nah. I'm surprised they got him again, but I kind of liked it. I was like, why can't they be more ballsy like this in the respective shows in general? You know what I mean? Because I was like, as if they've just done him again in the back. I thought it was great. My main criticism for this episode, I'm guessing y'all noticed it, but Jax, he was trying his hardest to cry, but he weren't crying. He was scrunching his face, he was closing his eyes, he was wiggling his mouth a little bit. Not a single tear fell. Why didn't someone put water on his face? I don't see why they would.
Yeah, or even use one of those like tear stick things they have now.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Because there was even the dialogue was there. If I was him and I was hearing what flipping Stein was going on about in his last moments and stuff and everything like that, even Brandon Ralph was going, and he wasn't even in the room.
I think they went the wrong way with the dialogue though. I think again going for this heavy-handed stuff about him being his son, blah, whatever. I think it's sadder that he's got a grandkid on the way and he's never going to meet him or her. They should have gone for that. That's sad.
The kid was born. The kid was born. He met him.
I think it's that's true.
It's more of a fact that, like...
Okay, well, he's not going to see the kid grow up. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
that's sad.
All he wanted to do was go back and see and spend time with Ronnie. That was his reason for leaving the team, and it was cruelly taken away from him. Another sad thing as well, like, I mean, even when Caitlin came out and talked to Ray Palmer, and she kind of like explained that them merging together is the only thing keeping him alive and stuff like that. It was kind of like an assisted thing, you know, where it's like, oh, hand me that and it'll break the connection and stuff like that. There was that vibe going on and stuff like that. So it was emotional. I thought it was emotional. There were some good themes there, but it's like the fact that, like, it was off-putting because, like, Jax, he just kept scrunching his face up sad. His voice was going, but, like, his face, like, nothing was happening. And I was like, this is off-putting. Whack some tears on and that'll get everyone going, you know what I mean? And in fact, he had his head in his hands as well, and his head down. I'm thinking, oh, so when he pops his head back up, there's going to be tears. Nah, dry face. So yeah.
Maybe it was a choice.
Another interesting thing as well is, like, Zari, like, she's got her wits about her. She's very... She's...
Who's Zari?
Come on, man. The girl, like, you know, the magic girl.
Oh, from Legends.
Yeah.
Whose name we can't say here, got you.
Yeah, she's like real sciencey. You know, she's going around dictating to everyone. She's like Ray Palmer, but, like, she tells people to... She's very, like, matter-of-fact and kind of, like, domineering in the conversation.
Like confident, right, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Which is kind of interesting, because every time she featured... over in the last episode and this episode, she's very bossy, like, oh yeah, I still don't really get what her powers are. We kind of saw it a little bit where, like, I guess a bit of wind comes out around, but that's the extent of her powers. So yeah, Martin Stein goes down. That was a very poor choice of words. Martin Stein's out of it, like, game over in a bit, mate. He didn't get his happy ending.
No, he did. You know what I find hilarious is they make a break to have a funeral. Or did that come later?
That's what I'm trying to think as well. No, it must have come later. Yeah, it must have come later, because he goes off, and then you got everyone sitting on the ship, and you've got them all kind of sitting and looking sad, like Ray Palmer looking at the picture of him from the Wild West. Then you've got Mick, and then Captain Cole comes in and sits with him, and then he kind of talks about how Mick was a hero on his Earth, and that he kind of died saving police officers from a burning building. And then you had, I mean, the break was Jax going to like the house to tell him really badly. He turns up at the, I mean, we had this discussion beforehand, but he turns up at the house, shakes his head from side to side, and like Clarissa's kind of looking at him, and then it's like, I'm so sorry, and again, still no tears, scrunching his face up, not crying or anything. I'll be like, what's wrong? You know, why are you scrunching your face up? It's like, you ain't crying. You seem sad, but you ain't crying. What's going on? Has Martin broke his leg? You know what I mean? Is Martin locked up somewhere?
Has he been lost in a different place in time? Yeah. Who knows? And these Stein's family must be bloody good at charades if they could work out exactly what this dude was saying from shaking his head.
Well, Lily is, because I mean, when Lily comes around the corner again, he just shakes his head from side to side, and I guess she understands what that means, because she runs in and she starts crying. Oscar to her, you know what I mean? And she wasn't even there. She just like, you know, has to put the pieces together from a head shake to the side. So you had that going on, and then I guess, yeah, you had the and Aaron over the Overgirl and the transplant, and then it turns out, oh, if she don't get it, she's gonna go supernova. And I didn't actually, I think because the dialogue was a bit stammered, but I didn't actually clearly understand the range of what had happened if she went supernova and it just turns out, oh, a couple blocks. I'm pretty sure that's what they said, and I was like, oh, whatever. So yeah, you got the...
I felt like that whole thing was vaguely undefined. Like, I still don't get entirely what anything was. Like, how did she? She flew too close to the sun? Since when's that been a thing?
I think... Yeah, she's like, I don't really know how that worked out at all. Like, that was really dumb. So the bottom line, everyone's back on Earth 1, and then it's just like the battle. You've got the Waverider chasing after the other Waverider. Then you've got Killer Frost doing an Iceman hype, and then they've got to destroy the Waverider. So they've got to like find a way to get onto the ship and then get everyone back. That's when you had Killer Frost kind of ice them from that ship to the other ship, and then you had Zari's pathetic power, and then Vibe manages to get them back. Then you have the fight on the street, and then Kara takes other Kara up and blows up in the air, and then Oliver does his like what I thought was a good scream, and then he ends up getting arrowed by other Arrow. And then you...
Okay, there you go. That's something I like. And then Steel catches Supergirl and drops a lame line about being Man of Steel. There's supposed to be Superman in it, for Christ's sake.
Now, that's because they mentioned it on Legends of Tomorrow when that guy called him the Man of Steel. So obviously he's gassed on that.
Why is he saying that when he's not Steel?
Yeah,
Zim stood there as a bloke, wasn't
it? No, he caught her as Steel and then kind of like took it off. My thing is like that didn't feel right to me, because originally I was getting vibes from Superman Returns, and then there was like a tiny little explosion thing, and I was like, oh, what's going on there? And he was holding her. I was just like, that didn't seem right to me, because she must have been picking up some hell of velocity. You know what I mean? So I would have just let her hit the ground. You know, that I guess that was reason to deliver the line.
The supernova thing still confuses me. Is that not something Supergirl herself would have questioned? Like, oh, I didn't know that could happen. Let's avoid that in the future.
I don't think maybe it can happen to her. I think certain things happened to Overgirl that led her to that. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like a rapid thing.
Certain things we don't really know about.
Yeah, and I guess only really apply to her. Yeah. So
speaking of undefined, so Eobard Thawne gets beat, Flash beats the crap out of him, has a shout to kill him, lets him go. I mean, doesn't even bother trying to catch him this time. He's literally just like, yeah, go, and lets the dude leave. What I'm thinking is like, this entire time I was waiting for the penny to drop with Reverse Flash and figure out like, what exactly was his part of this plan. Like, what was he in for? I didn't think he was really a Nazi. I just thought he was in for himself. But now I'm like, it never really dropped what his thing was. So was he literally just there with the Nazis for some reason?
I'm thinking maybe it was like, do you know, I think maybe it was a plan for him to get back to Earth 1, because somehow something must have happened that led him to get from Earth 1 to Earth-X, and I guess he couldn't find a way to get back, so that was the only way to get back. Even that don't make sense, because they had the dimension thing, but I don't know whether they only just got that, so I couldn't really work out, because I mean, it seemed like at the start of Earth-X when they kind of got into the facility and then they're standing there, I think that's when they first acquired this dimensional thing, but I mean they had a whole headquarters built around it. So I don't really know. I think they.
Oh yeah, but we should say we didn't really address the dimensional thing. The dimensional thing's like it's like the time travel machine they find in Skynet and Terminator. This entire thing basically Terminator. It's like the time travel machine they find in Terminator, which they can use to send people to other Earths apparently, which apparently they've never used before.
Yeah, it kind of.
So yeah, why? I don't get it. I don't get why couldn't they just use that and get back? Job done. Off you go.
I don't. Yeah. Because, like, I guess they needed to get over there to get Supergirl to fix Overgirl. So, like, if they had that, why didn't he? But whether he wanted to take over Earth 1, all of it, there's a lot of plot holes there. I don't get so if we rule out that he wanted to that he wasn't stuck on Earth-X and he could have come and gone as he pleased, maybe he just thought, oh, take over Earth 1. I got these guys to do the work for me. I'm laughing, you know what I mean? Maybe that was it. So he wanted to take over Earth 1, but then
even as he goes, he drops the line, I wonder what face I'll be wearing next time. At first I thought, oh, is that a hint that he's got another new face somewhere in the Flash we don't know about it? But I don't think so. I think they were just saying like, oh, we're doing a doppelganger thing, so we let Tom Cavanagh do it this time, but next time we're bringing back the other guy. Which is fine. I thought it was good in Legends, so I don't really have an issue with that.
Or I mean, talking about faces like another guy, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think we'll see it. I think it just served as a purpose to like do their thing, have their story, and they just thought, right, maybe we're going to use Eobard Thawne in the future, so we might as well whack him in there. Not really have a purpose, because obviously it weren't explained, his thing. There were a lot of plot holes there, so let's just use it as an excuse to get him back on Earth 1 and like let him go off and do his thing so he can pop up later in the Flash or whatever.
Because there are plot points they set up for the future, obviously, because they didn't bring him back in this thing. One being obviously his daughter at the wedding, like she never came back at any point, so I guess she's going to pop up at some point in Flash going forward.
Yeah, I'm trying. So yeah, you had Ray, or the Ray, go back to Earth-X, I guess, to pick up the pieces, and Captain Cold stayed, and that's when you had the funeral, because Captain Cold was at the funeral.
Why? He doesn't know him.
I think.
We know why, don't we? We know why. He was in Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. They want a whole team there to send off Stein, I guess. But from his point of view, why?
I think he was just there because he was part of the thing, and he fought alongside him, and is like a hero. But I think they thought, right, Martin Stein's out. We might as well to fill the gap. We'll bring back Captain Cold for the rest of the season. So yeah, he's gonna. I guess
he's leaving anyway, though, isn't he?
See, that's what I'm confused about, because I read apparently it was his final appearance, but then like, why not just let him go back to Earth-X and we don't see him again? He made a pretty big deal about staying, so.
Especially because apparently the Ray is from Earth 1.
That's what I mean.
That's weird.
They like did a swap out. I don't get it. I mean, There's no way you bring back Captain Cold for this episode, make a deal of him staying on Earth 1, and then we don't see him again. Maybe he'll do his thing, run his course, end up dying, and then the ray comes out, and then he's the replacement for the Firestorm, because Jackson got a partner and Captain Cold because he's done whatever. Because as I said, we drew parallels with his CGI, is like exactly the same. Except, I guess he can't transmute things, like, I guess was a big thing needed a couple times.
That might be something that... Now...
It just seems to me like a massive cabinet reshuffle for Legends of Tomorrow, and bringing Eobard Thawne back. That was it.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much what it was. I mean, two birds with one stone. They got their crossover and set up some plot for the rest of the shows going forward.
Yeah, because it's mid-season finale week this week. Everything's having their mid-season finale and finishing. So, yeah. You look like you're going to say something.
No, I was just trying to figure out how much is left. I mean, that's it basically until the double whammy wedding, wasn't it?
Yeah, which kind of... I don't want to be that guy and be nitpicky, but I was sitting there thinking, like, how's Oliver going to... Like, Diggle goes, oh, right, you've had your ceremony, so all you have to do is do your vows. And I was sitting there thinking, Oliver and Felicity ain't had no ceremony. And then I was thinking, like, are they going to explain this? Are they going to go back in, like, Arrow and be like, oh, by the way, I know I'm the mayor and I'm under indictment, but I eloped and got married.
Yeah, and didn't tell my kid.
Didn't
get a marriage license.
Yeah, so...
You know what? I'll be that guy and say, like, Felicity, like, how rude can you be? Like, this is like Barry and Iris's moment. It's like, you know what? Let's just do it too.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I think they kind of were just like, oh, let's get it done, or what, next time we go and get it done, something else is going to happen. You'll have Eobard Thawne turn up, so I mean, we might as well just get married or whatever. And they were just like, oh, we might as well just do the same. So yeah, then you had...
It's a pretty cool ending, isn't it? I mean, I thought it was a bit hokey the way they got there in the end, but that's not a bad way to end. Have a pair of them, or four of them, I guess, hook up.
And then you had Alex kind of have a wavering thing whether she wanted to get back with Maggie again, and Sara of set her straight and then sent her on her way. Yeah, that was dumb as well.
Exactly, but yeah. That's all that character does, is just moan on about bloody Maggie.
It's weird.
That's all she does now.
It's annoying because Alex is like the powerful, like, commander. She should be acting more like Zod. Like,
right, so down.
You know what I mean? Because she was coming off like very commanding, in control, like powerful woman, and then they whacked her in a relationship, and now she's like all whiny and moany, and doesn't know whether to get back with her, and she wants kids. Yeah, like really lame. It's like she should...
Black Widow was terrible. This is what it would be. It's all she does is moan on about goddamn Maggie.
She was good. She was good in the first season, like, for that. But then when she come over to the CW, they made her all CW, and they completely took her edge away. Like, there's really nothing to her now. She's like, you lose respect for her because they've made her super, like, wet.
Hang on, they made her worse by... Again, poor choice of word. They've made her worse by pairing her with Sara, who's a much cooler character. So that's what you should be like, in a less, I guess, psycho kind of way, but yeah.
That's pretty much what she was, except not psycho. And they completely, like, watered her down when she come over to the CW. So yeah, whether for dramatic effect next episode they have her whinging about Maggie again. Get rid of Maggie, kill Maggie off. And then the only problem is when she gets in a relationship with someone else, is it going to be the same old shtick?
Yes.
I mean, let's talk numbers, unless there's anything we missed, because this episode was hella plot hold, but whatever.
It was, but that's the consequence of the whole thing was, it's just that you kept waiting for the royal. We waited for, like, the wrap up to maybe fill in some plot holes that were in the entire thing. It didn't. I think it was clunky. but it was fun overall. I had a good time with it, I guess. I'd give it an 8. I think overall, I'd give it an 8. I thought it was solid. I liked that it was an actual crossover. I liked having Thawne back. That's always a plus. Some clunky crap, a bit fresh. Some of the dialogue was a bit lax. I like they had the balls to kill Stein. Overall, I don't think I'll ever go back and watch that crossover from last season. I might in a few years go back and watch this one. It was alright. Although the people out there saying this is the crossover we deserve and it was awesome and yeah, screw JLA. That's what. No, calm down. It wasn't that great. I'll take a step back and get some perspective. But it was okay. It was alright.
There was some kind of cool things. I mean, I'll agree with all your points there. I did like Killer Frost doing that Iceman thing. I thought we get to see a little more of her powers and what she can do and stuff like that. Oliver was really gunning for it at the start with his arrows. He was just nailing arrow after arrow. Like, I thought that was sick. I liked the sound effect as well. That was pretty cool. So it was one of them kind of things where they can like experiment and throw bits in. But yeah, I did like the Killer Frost thing. I was kind of getting a vibe that she's like more in control of that side now. So I like that. Mick Rourke.
Still that thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we've talked about it before, and I don't want to go over our ground. But it's like the more I think about it, Barry just let the Reverse Flash go. Yeah. He didn't even try to lock him up.
I think maybe in his head he was thinking it was a kindness, like, oh, I'll let you go, and then hopefully next time we meet you won't do anything too bad. Maybe you'll just...
Can't be that naive. He was considering killing him, and then it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to kill you, and let him go. Like, put him in prison. Imagine Batman as letting a Joker, like, yeah, run off the thing. That baffles me.
I think, yeah, maybe he was hoping, maybe like somewhere down the line when he pops up again, like, I think maybe, yeah, that was super naive of the Flash thinking, yo, remember that time I let you go? Come on, allow it, man. Maybe he was trying to, maybe he thought in his head that somehow that had kind of Thawne a little bit, but it's not going to happen. There was another thing I was going to mention as well. Yeah, my issue is now, how are they going to deal with Firestorm? Now, are they going to completely forget that Jax is going to go all supernova because he hasn't got anyone to merge with? Are they going to completely forget that and make him drink something so we'll be like, oh, okay, then no worries? That's like going forward, that's a thing like the Legends have to deal with, whether they're going to get him a new partner or find a way of him being Firestorm without the other half of him.
I would assume that's what they're going to do.
So yeah. 8-5 because they did a couple things that I liked. Didn't expect Red Tornado to pop up, even though he was pretty pointless. I liked a couple of the references. I guess the Superman one, but again, that was more annoying than constructive. So yeah, 8.5 overall. I guess like an 8 for the whole 4 episodes, but the finale was a little better because there was some cool stuff going on. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And that just about wraps it up for Crisis on Infinite Earths. And this is the one channel where...
Earth-X.
Oh, what did I say?
Infinite Earths. I fucking wish it was that.
That's the crossover we deserve. But no, they'll just do the death of Supergirl and Supergirl. So yeah.
Also, I don't really want to see CW CGI anti-monitor, to be honest with you, so maybe let's stay away from that.
Why would they need to do CGI when they could just put a guy in a suit? hashtag Doomsday. Sure. We'll see you next time for more Superhero Hub. Holla!